Deputy Speaker, well, a robust education system on educational outcomes and opportunities is the foundation of our society and the individual. As I said in my first speech, education is the foundation to create a great life. It is my fundamental belief that the crucial element in order to lift people out of poverty and to build a better life for themselves and their communities is a strong education system. A system focused on delivering tangible education outcomes for students to set them up for long-term success. And it is so important that we do all we can to lift student outcomes. And governments have invested billions in education. Unfortunately, results have been going backwards. And it is important that we provide parents with choice in their education of their children. And personally, I've been lucky to be raised by my mum, who was a teacher, is still a teacher in a public school. My wife is a teacher's aide in one of the local schools. And so I get to see, and I've seen firsthand, the impact that teachers and teachers' aides have on the students under their care. So I want to take a moment to pay tribute to all teachers aides, everyone in the education system. They give so much back for our community. And education is crucial. But unfortunately, Deputy Speaker, we have another motion on a Monday from the government that talks a big game but doesn't actually deliver when you dig down into the detail. And let's just use one example of the Minister for Education talking a big game but not delivering the actual outcome for students, for teachers and the community. In 2022, the Minister for Education promised that Labor would provide $68.3 million to fund up to 2,260 high-achieving teachers who would be fast-tracked into classrooms most in need. And like always, big announcement, big hoopla about this important announcement. However, in September this year, the government quietly announced that it's going to spend $70.9 million, but it's only going to deliver 1,497 teachers. So it's hundreds of positions short of what was promised. It's clear they have no plan to address teacher shortages that are impacting communities right across Australia. And Minister Clare has been missing in action on urgent reforms needed such as teacher training and including the explicit teaching of behaviour in the curriculum. But don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it that the federal Labor government are letting down the Australian people. Let's go to the Victorian ALP Minister for Education, Minister Ben Carroll, who is the Minister for Education in Victoria. And he was critical of the federal Labor government and their funding. And he was asked to clarify whether the previous coalition government had done a better job in funding public schools. And Mr Carroll replied that yes, they had. The Victorian ALP Minister for Education confirming that the former coalition government has done a better job funding public schools than the current federal Labor government. And again, we see on the table is in the motion. And the reason this money is on the table is because the government has not been able to land agreements with Victoria, New South Wales, Queensland, South Australia and the ACT. We have a government again patting themselves on the back for the great job they're doing, but in reality, they haven't delivered for 5 states and territories across the country. And education is crucial, as I said, Deputy Speaker, to our community. I was lucky enough recently to visit St Andrews and Wonga Park Primary Schools, which are new schools in my electorate. It was great to meet with them. My daughter had fun making honey joys out of the recipe book from the Wonga Park Primary School and to meet with the principal, Julie. St Andrews School principals Carolyn and Hayley, as well as the students when I went to visit, were busy serving and hosting the Seniors Festival High Tea, an example of how our schools connect with the wider community. And recently I had the opportunity to celebrate the Christmas Hills and the Wuriolek 150th birthday celebrations, a great testament to those communities and what they've given to our community. Christmas Hills in particular was special. It was a school that my mum spent over a decade teaching at. It's a small school, it's a great school, and that's why we've got to continue to back education outcomes in Victoria and across the country.
Authorised by Aaron Violi, Liberal Party, Lilydale.